In 1945, a young man named Hiroshi stood in the ruins of Tokyo. Everything burned, his family gone, his home ash, starvation gnawing at his belly. He found his old kendo master in a destroyed dojo, sweeping debris with dignity. "Master," Hiroshi whispered, voice hollow, "how do we survive this? We have nothing left." The master stopped sweeping, looked at him with eyes that had seen everything destroyed. "We survive by not surviving, by enduring with dignity. The pain doesn't matter. How you carry the pain matters." Here's what nobody tells you about endurance. Warriors weren't superhuman. They felt the same unbearable pain you feel when a devastating injury destroys your career, when a failure ruins your reputation, or when a loss breaks your spirit. The difference? They had a philosophy for enduring the unbearable with dignity. Gaman. And that philosophy works just as powerfully today as it did 80 years ago. The question is, are you ready to learn how warriors endure the unbearable and come out stronger? Kenji's prison. Kenji Nakamura was 26 years old when he realized pain had exposed the truth. He was weak. Not physically weak, he was 15-0 as a professional MMA fighter, undefeated prospect destined for the championship. Physically, he was a killer. Mentally, he crumbled. Training got hard? He'd take days off, complain to anyone who'd listen how unfair the grind was. In fights, when opponents landed good shots, he'd get frustrated, emotional, abandon his game plan, fight sloppy, weight cuts and diet discipline. He'd cheat, make excuses, blame his nutritionist, his coach, his genetics. He was talented, gifted, completely unreliable the moment things hurt. Coach Tanaka pulled him aside one Tuesday after he'd skipped morning training again. "Kenji, you have all the physical tools, but you need to develop your spirit. The championship rounds require a warrior's mind. If you can't endure discomfort now, you'll break when it matters." Kenji nodded, but they both knew he wouldn't change. Then in his biggest fight, the one that would earn him a title shot, his knee exploded. ACL tear, MCL tear, meniscus shredded. In the second round, 2 more rounds to go. The fight should have been stopped. But Kenji heard the doctor ask, "Can you continue?" And for the first time in his life, the answer mattered more than the pain. He looked at the ceiling of the arena, thought about his record, 3 fights almost lost in late rounds because he quit mentally when hurt. 8 training partners who refused to work with him anymore. Too much complaining, not enough heart. 2 sponsorship deals lost because his reputation was talented but soft. 1 title shot he'd been passed over for because matchmakers said he lacked warrior spirit. Every door to greatness stayed closed because he couldn't endure. "I can continue," Kenji heard himself say. He lost that fight, badly, but he finished. For the first time, he endured. 3 days later, sitting in the orthopedic surgeon's office, Kenji heard words that broke something in him. "Your career is over. The damage is too severe. Your knee will never be the same. Even with surgery, you're looking at 18 months of brutal rehab, and you'll still have permanent instability. I'm sorry, but you need to accept it." The word hit like a punch he didn't see coming. Over. That's what he was. Over. Not because of the injury, fighters came back from worse, but because he'd spent 4 years training himself to quit when things hurt, to complain, to crumble, to lack dignity and suffering. And now, facing the hardest thing he'd ever endure, he had no strength to draw from. Kenji sat in his car in the parking lot and cried. Not the dramatic sobbing kind, just silent tears running down his face as he sat in the driver's seat, realizing he'd wasted 4 years building a body that could fight, but a mind that couldn't endure. He called Coach Tanaka. "Coach, they said I'm done." Tanaka paused. "Are you?" "I don't know. I don't know how to go through this. 18 months of hell, surgery, pain, rehab, and I might never fight again anyway." I don't know if I'm strong enough. You're not. The word stung. But you can become strong enough. If you're willing to learn what I've been trying to teach you for 4 years. Gaman, the warrior's way of enduring the unbearable. Want to learn? Kenji almost said no, because 18 months of agony terrified him. But something broke in that moment. Yeah, teach me. Chapter 2, The Principal, Meeting Coach Tanaka. The dojo didn't look like Kenji expected. No motivational posters, no championship belts displayed, no trophies. Just a clean wooden space with tatami mats, floor-to-ceiling windows showing a small Zen garden, rain falling steadily outside. Coach Tanaka entered, late 60s, lean, weathered, moving with a cane carefully but with perfect posture. That specific dignity that makes you aware of your own slouching. Kenji had trained under Tanaka for 4 years, but had never really seen him. Kenji, sit. Kenji lowered himself awkwardly, knee braced and elevated, crutches beside him. Your knee will heal, eventually. The question is, what will you become during the healing? I don't understand. Tell me, what do you think strength is? Kenji thought. Not feeling pain? Being tough enough that nothing hurts? Wrong. Tanaka sat across from him with controlled precision. Strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is dignity in pain. I felt every step I took coming in here. My hip was shattered in 1987, 38 years ago. It still hurts. Every single day. Kenji stared. You never said anything. Because that's not what Gaman teaches. Complaining doesn't reduce pain. It only adds suffering to pain. Tanaka gestured to a kintsugi bowl on the altar shelf. Gold cracks running through it, not hidden but highlighted. Gaman, woman, enduring the unbearable with patience and dignity, not ignoring pain, acknowledging it fully while refusing to let it control your behavior or destroy your dignity. And this, he pointed to his old judoka gi hanging on the wall, visibly worn and repaired multiple times. Nintai, Rin-nai, patient perseverance through suffering, the ability to continue despite prolonged hardship. I don't understand how this helps me survive 18 months of hell. Let me ask you something. When did you start quitting when things got hard? Kenji thought back. First real training camp, I was 14. It was brutal. 3-a-day sessions, diet control, no breaks. I quit after 3 days, went home crying. After that, I guess I learned that when training hurts too much, I could just stop. Make excuses, blame someone. So one moment of weakness created a pattern, and that pattern has grown for how many years? 12. 12 years of training your brain that pain means quit. 12 years of neural pathways reinforcing weakness. And you think you can undo that during surgery recovery? Kenji felt shame crawling up his spine. So I'm just weak, forever. I didn't say that. I said you cannot undo 12 years of trained weakness in a few weeks. But you can undo 12 years in 18 months. If you're willing to do something that seems impossibly small. What is it? Tanaka smiled slightly. For the next 2 weeks, every single day, I want you to walk 100 steps on those crutches, without complaint. Kenji blinked. That's it? Not 100 steps and tell me how much it hurt. Not 100 steps and then post on social media about your suffering. 100 steps, silent, dignified, like a warrior. That won't fix my knee. You're right, 100 steps won't fix your knee. But 14 days of 100 dignified steps will prove something crucial, that you can face pain and maintain your dignity. And that proof is the seed of all warrior strength. Kenji left confused. He'd expected physical therapy protocols, pain management techniques, rehab science. Instead, he got, walk without complaining. But something Tanaka said stuck with him. You've spent 12 years training yourself to be weak. Now you'll spend 18 months training yourself to be strong. That night, post-surgery day 3, the pain was volcanic. The nerve block had worn off. His knee felt like broken glass grinding with every tiny movement. The pain medication barely touched it. Kenji looked at the crutches leaning against the wall. 100 steps. His brain immediately started. This is stupid. It's going to hurt too much. What's the point? Just rest today. Start tomorrow. But he picked up the crutches. Step 1, agony. Step 2, worse. Step 10, wanted to scream. Step 25, sweat pouring. Step 50, halfway. Step 75, every muscle shaking. Step 100, done. He collapsed on the couch. Not a single word of complaint had left his mouth. Hands shaking from pain, body screaming, but silent. Day 1, complete. Chapter 3, the test. The 14-day challenge. The first week was a war. Every day, Kenji had to walk 100 steps on crutches without saying a word about the pain. And every day, his brain gave him 100 reasons to quit or complain. This is pointless. Walking won't rebuild your knee. You're in too much pain. Skip today. Start fresh tomorrow. Why can't you tell anyone how much it hurts? That's not weakness, that's honesty. But he walked anyway. Day 3. Walked 100 steps around the apartment complex parking lot. A neighbor saw him struggling, asked if he was okay. Every fiber of his being wanted to unload, tell her how bad it hurt, how unfair the injury was, how long recovery would take. He smiled. I'm good, thanks. Kept walking. Day 5. Physical therapy started. Walked his 100 steps in the clinic hallway before the session. Then the real torture began. The therapist bent his knee, stretched scar tissue, pushed him to his pain threshold and beyond. Old Kenji would have raged about how much it hurt, made excuses, blamed the therapist for being too aggressive. New Kenji stayed silent, did every exercise, survived. Day 7. Walked 100 steps outside in pouring rain. Every step, torture. Crutches slipping on wet concrete. Knees screaming. Rain soaking through his clothes. By step 50, something shifted. He stopped viewing the pain as an enemy that required commentary. It was just pain, like the rain. Something that exists. Something you endure with dignity. He just walked. On day 14, he returned to the dojo. Tanaka was sweeping, moving with that same careful dignity despite his own pain. Did you walk all 14 days? Yes. Did you complain? No. How do you feel? Honestly? Proud. It's stupid, they're just steps. But I did something every day that hurt, and I didn't break. I didn't quit my dignity. Tanaka nodded. Not stupid, essential. You've just learned the first principle of building warrior strength. Dignity in hardship beats comfort in ease. He continued, most people try to come back from injury by making grand announcements, big comeback posts, rushing rehab to prove toughness, posting every workout, every struggle for sympathy and validation. And their recovery crumbles because it's built on attention, not character. But warriors didn't build strength through drama. They built it by enduring one unbearable day, then another, building neural pathways of dignity through silent repetition. Tanaka stood. Now, next 2 weeks, keep your daily 100 steps, but add this. Complete your full physical therapy sessions 3 times per week without one complaint or excuse. Not to the therapist, not to yourself, not online. Just endure. Kenji felt panic rising. Coach, those sessions are brutal. 2 hours of torture. You want me to go through that in silence? Can you walk 100 steps without complaint? Yes. Then you can endure 2 hours without complaint. Same skill, same dignity. You've already proven you have this much warrior spirit. Tanaka pulled out a wooden board with 8 carved levels ascending like steps. This is your warrior's ladder of Gaman. Each rung is a level of endurance. Walk 100 steps daily without complaint. Complete PT 3 times a week without complaints. Return to gym as observer without bitterness. Begin shadow boxing with permanent damage. Spar controlled rounds despite pain. Complete full training camp. Take fight against regional opponent. Return to cage against ranked opponent with permanent damage. We will climb this ladder 1 rung at a time. Never skip, never rush, never complain. Always endure with dignity before moving up. Kenji stared at rung 8, fighting again, with permanent knee damage. The doctors said it was impossible. Coach, they said my career is over. They said your old career is over. The career built on physical gifts and mental weakness. I'm teaching you a new career, built on something unbreakable, dignity in suffering. For the next 11 months, Kenji trained his spirit. Month 3, returned to the gym, not to train, to watch. Sat on the sidelines as his former training partners drilled, sparred, improved. While he sat there, crippled, falling behind. Every day the bitterness rose in his throat. He wanted to complain about how unfair it was, how he should be the one improving. Instead, he sat silently, studied technique, helped coach others, trained his mind by watching. Month 5, started shadowboxing. The knee was unstable, unpredictable. He'd throw a combination and his knee would buckle. Nearly fell multiple times. Old Kenji would have made excuses, blamed the injury, stopped trying. New Kenji kept going, adjusted his stance, learned to fight from a wider base, continued without excuse, learning to fight with imperfection. Month 7, first controlled sparring round with a trusted partner. 3 minutes of light technical work. 30 seconds in, his partner accidentally landed a light kick to the damaged knee. Not hard, barely a tap, but the pain was instant, electric. Wanted to stop, blame his partner, protect himself. Instead, he reset, finished the round, thanked his partner afterward. Month 9, attempted a full 5-round training simulation. Made it through 2 rounds. The knee swelled badly. Couldn't walk for 3 days. Complete failure. Didn't complain. Didn't post about the setback. Just iced in silence. Rested with dignity. Resumed training when ready. 2 weeks later, attempted again. Completed 3 rounds. Building back slowly, with honor. Every rung of the ladder felt impossible until he climbed it. Then it became the new baseline of what he could endure. Tanaka explained, "This is Shojin, Jingjin, single-minded dedication, pushing forward with focus. Even though you've endured so much already, you approach each new challenge fresh. No ego about past endurance. No, I should be further along. Just, I am enduring what's in front of me today." During one particularly brutal week, month 9, Kenji broke down. "Coach, why does it still hurt so much? It's been 9 months. Shouldn't it be easier by now? Shouldn't I be, I don't know, past this?" Tanaka's response changed everything. "You think the end point is being pain-free? Back to normal? No. The end point is fighting effectively despite permanent pain. I told you, my hip has hurt for 38 years. It will hurt until I die. That's not failure. That's the warrior's life. You will always feel pain in that knee. That's not a sign you're broken. That's proof you're still here, still training, still enduring. The goal isn't feeling comfortable. The goal is performing with dignity despite discomfort. There's a massive difference." This reframed everything for Kenji. He'd been waiting for the pain to stop before resuming his career, but the pain would never stop. The knee would never be normal. His new career would be built on a damaged foundation, and that required a different kind of strength. Not the strength to avoid pain, but the strength to endure it with dignity. Tanaka taught him a morning ritual. 5 a.m., wake, Ice the knee. No complaint about the pain. Just ice, breathe, accept. 5:15 a.m. 20 minutes of meditation focused on endurance. Visualize completing hard training with dignity. See himself finishing despite pain. 5:35 a.m. Light mobility work on the damaged knee. No wishing it was different. Just working with the limitation honestly. 6 a.m. Journal one question. What will hurt today? How will I endure it with dignity? This ritual created what Tanaka called Fudoshin. Budon-shin, immovable spirit. The state of being unshaken by pain, composed under suffering, committed to endurance regardless of internal screaming. Kenji discovered something profound. Discipline creates dignity. By committing to the ritual regardless of how much his knee hurt, regardless of how discouraged he felt, regardless of setbacks, he freed himself from the tyranny of pain. The pain still existed, but it no longer controlled him. This is gambaru. Gambaru, the Japanese concept of persisting, doing one's best despite difficulty, toughing it out. Not positive thinking, not pain relief, just endure regardless. Crisis of faith moment. By month 11, Kenji had climbed to rung 7 of his warrior's ladder. He'd done things that seemed medically impossible 11 months earlier. He was sparring full rounds, completing training camps. His knee still hurt, always would, but he'd learned to fight with it. But rung 8 terrified him. Taking a ranked fight against a top 15 opponent, knowing his knee could explode again, knowing he might get seriously hurt, knowing this time he might not recover. And that's exactly what his coach was about to propose. During a particularly hard week of training, Kenji sat alone in the dojo after hours, and a thought arose, not from his own mind, but from somewhere ancient. Every warrior who has walked this path has faced these same moments. The moments where pain whispers, stop, and dignity whispers, endure. You are not alone in this suffering. Across time, across space, warriors are choosing character over comfort. Join us in this practice. The thought passed, but Kenji felt it. He was part of something larger than himself, an eternal tradition of warriors building unshakable character through dignified endurance. Tanaka entered, moving with his cane, still in pain after 38 years, still training despite it. Kenji, there's a ranked opponent, number 14 in the division. His team called. They want you. They think you're an easy comeback fight. Damaged goods. Every instinct screamed no. Are you? Kenji looked at his coach. At the kintsugi bowl with its gold cracks. At the worn judoka gi that had survived decades. No, coach. I'm not damaged goods. I'm refined by damage. When do we start camp? If you're enduring something unbearable right now, an injury, a failure, a loss, a grind that seems endless, you're walking the warrior's path. Subscribe to Honest Road to continue training your spirit with us, because dignity and suffering is built together, not alone. Kenji stood, 3 months until the fight, 3 months to prove that what doesn't kill you makes you more than stronger. It makes you unbreakable. Chapter 7, The Final Confrontation. Fighting Through Breaking, the ultimate test month 14. Fight Week. The matchmakers had made the call 3 months ago. Opponent, ranked number 14 in the division. A killer, undefeated, young, hungry, undamaged. His team had specifically requested Kenji. They thought he was an easy fight. Damaged goods, a name on the resume. Kenji's manager called. They're calling you a comeback layup, saying you're crippled, shot, done. Do you want this fight? Every cell in Kenji's body screamed, no. Fighting a top 15 opponent meant 5 rounds, 25 minutes, on a knee that would hurt every single second, against an opponent who'd target that knee mercilessly, on national television, with the very real possibility his knee could explode again, and this time, end everything permanently. Old Kenji would have declined immediately, found an excuse, blamed the matchmaking, protected himself. New Kenji felt the terror and said, "Yes, book it." The 12-week training camp was war. Week 3, sparring session. Partner threw a hard leg kick. Caught Kenji clean on the damaged knee. Not dirty, just fighting. But the knee swelled badly. Immediately. Doctors examined it, recommended stopping the camp. "You're risking permanent disability. This fight isn't worth it." Old Kenji would have agreed, pulled out, made it about the injury. New Kenji used Shojin, single-minded focus on today, not next week's training, not fight night, just today. He iced the knee, treated it, showed up the next day, finished camp. Week 10, weight cut began, brutal. When Kenji dehydrated, the knee swelled worse. Every pound lost made the knee scream louder. Cutting weight is hard for everyone. For Kenji, it was compounded agony. Hands shaking, vision blurry, knee feeling like it might detach. He cut the weight in silence, made weight at weigh-ins, never mentioned the difficulty, dignity in suffering. Week 11, opponent did media interviews. "I'm fighting a cripple. Guy can't even move right. Easy night, easy money." Old Kenji would have raged back, started a trash talk war, let ego take over. New Kenji responded once simply, "My knee is damaged, my spirit is refined." Then went silent, trained. Fight night. Rounds 1 and 2 went well. Kenji fought smart, used footwork, angles, kept range, avoided exchanges that stressed the knee. Up on the judges' cards. Then round 3. 2 minutes in, exhausted, Kenji's stance widened slightly. Just an inch. The opponent saw it. Threw a devastating leg kick. Hard, clean, directly to the damaged knee. Same spot as the original injury 14 months ago. The sound echoed in the arena. Kenji's knee buckled. He went down. The referee rushed in. "Can you continue?" 10,000 people watching. National TV broadcast. Commentators saying, "The knee gave out. It's over. He shouldn't continue. This is dangerous." The doctor entered the cage, checked the knee. Kenji could see his opponent already celebrating, arms raised, thinking it was done. Everything old Kenji had feared for 14 months, public failure, re-injury, humiliation, career over. Old Kenji would have stayed down, protected himself, taken the medical stoppage, blamed the opponent for the dirty kick. New Kenji felt the pain, massive, overwhelming, catastrophic pain, and spoke to the referee clearly. "I can continue." The doctor, "Your knee is compromised. I don't think I can fight." He stood on the damaged knee, tested it. It held. Barely, but it held. The referee waved them back to fight. For the final 2 rounds, 10 minutes, Kenji fought on one functional leg, adjusted his stance even wider, used pure grit, angles, and timing, absorbed punishment, kept fighting, maintained his dignity. The final bell rang. Both fighters embraced, exhausted, damaged, warriors. Decision, 48-47. Kenji, he'd won. On heart, on endurance, on unbreakable spirit. After, in the locker room, Coach Tanaka found him. That's what separates warriors from fighters. Not skill, not talent, the ability to endure the unbearable and keep fighting with dignity. Kenji realized he'd finally reached rung 8 of his warrior's ladder. Not because his knee had healed, it hadn't, it never would. Because he'd proven he could fight, win, and maintain his dignity despite permanent damage. The pain would always be there. The warrior would be there too. The Gaman truth. 14 months after his knee exploded, Kenji sat across from Coach Tanaka in the quiet dojo. Rain falling outside, steam rising from tea between them. His knee still in a brace, still swollen from last week's fight. Still still damaged. But Kenji was different. "Coach, I've been thinking. When I started this, I thought strength meant not feeling pain, being tough enough that nothing hurt." Tanaka sipped his tea, smiled slightly. "Tell me what you've learned." Strength is dignity in pain. It's the ability to endure unbearable suffering without losing your character, without becoming less than what you are. Yes. And you build that strength the same way you forge steel, through heat and hammering. By enduring one unbearable day at a time with dignity, small moments of endurance compound into unshakable character. Yes. And the pain never stops. My knee hurts every day, still swells after training. I still feel fear before hard sparring. I still want to complain when the pain is worst, but I don't let it control me anymore. The pain exists. My dignity exists too, and I choose which one leads. Tanaka nodded slowly. This is the Gaman truth. The samurai were not superhuman. They were not immune to pain. They were not naturally tough. They were trained in endurance, refined by suffering, choosing dignity over comfort every single day. They built so many reference experiences of surviving unbearable pain with dignity that their brains learned pain isn't catastrophe. Pain is just weather. You have done the same. So am I a warrior now? Tanaka laughed. The sound was warm. You are on the path. The path never ends. There will always be new pain, new injuries, new suffering. Life doesn't stop breaking you. But now you have the system to endure with honor. Step 1, acknowledge the pain. Don't pretend it's not there. Don't lie to yourself. Feel it fully. Step 2, breathe. Separate the pain from the suffering. Pain is sensation. Suffering is the story you tell about it. Change the story. Step 3, choose dignity. Take one step, one rep, one round with honor. Not tomorrow, not the whole journey, just this moment, right now. Step 4, repeat daily. Gaman is not a feeling, it's a practice. Train your endurance like a muscle, every day. That is the way of the warrior. Kenji left the dojo. The rain had stopped. The world looked different, not because the world had changed, but because he had. He wasn't a fighter running from pain anymore. He wasn't a man who quit when things hurt, complained when pushed, crumbled under pressure. He was a warrior training to endure, carrying his pain with dignity, continuing regardless. The pain was still there, every step, every day, always would be. The dignity to endure was there too, and dignity beats pain every time. Not through strength, through Gaman, through endurance, through the warrior's way. If you're feeling what Kenji felt, if pain, injury, or hardship has been making your decisions for too long, if you quit when things hurt, complain when pushed, avoid difficulty instead of enduring it, you're not alone. Warriors throughout history have walked this exact path, the path of building unshakable character through dignified endurance, one unbearable day at a time. Subscribe to Honest Road to walk this warrior's path with us, because dignity in suffering isn't a gift, it's a skill you train. And Kenji was just beginning to train it.